felt like coming on and doing a chill session with you all, catch up about your new year, see how things are going so far. I am, of course, going to be drinking some tea, and I thought today it'd be good, to hold space for everyone to talk about any resolutions they may have, any goals for the year. I think it's healthy. I don't think that it's any kind of false expectation that we put upon ourselves or upon our community or the year in general, just modern times in general, for us to set these goals. So yeah, I wanted to talk about resolutions, and perhaps if you have a resolution to drink more tea and to have more of a tea lifestyle, I thought this could also be a good chance that I could do whatever I can to encourage you. And I thought that I would start by going on to Reddit, because I know every time I go to Reddit I get lots of great questions, general knowledge questions about tea. So I thought that would be a good place to go. But of course, if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat, put them in the comments, and I'll be really happy to answer any questions that you have about tea in general, or anything else too. Just life advice, what you should do with your year. I'm happy to talk with you. I'm actually going to readjust myself. I was streaming last night and got a little messy here. Happy New Year, John. Good to see you. Happy New Year. I wish you the greatest year ahead. Whatever that means for you, I hope it happens. And you get to drink lots of great tea, of course. That's always a must. Always, always, always. I'm going to be drinking some Shu Pu'er from Nano Shan. I drank this a couple days ago. Actually, I drank it yesterday, and I liked it so much I'm going to drink it again. I think this is a good tea to help balance me out for the year to come. Friends that I'm live. Maybe they'll want to come on and say hi, say Happy New Year. Today I'm broadcasting from my tea table in Sri Lanka, the tea fields of Amba Tea Estate in Sri Lanka. I thought it'd be nice to have this in the background so that way I could reference to tea. Of course, I always feel like this image of tea is one of the best images that can be used when you're talking about tea education or answering questions about tea, because a lot of times people don't really think that tea comes from a plant and that it is really just this part, this shoot, this fresh shoot right here that's harvested for making the tea. People don't think about that too often, so I thought that'd be a good visual to have. Oh, John, thank you so much for sharing the video, inviting your friends. Hope it should be chill. I'm going to play some super chill music. You might say, hey, it's Friday night. Why is it so chill? And I thought maybe I would keep it lit. I got the disco ball. Disco ball got installed yesterday for the New Year's party, so we can keep it a little party here. But I'm feeling pretty chill. Like my year has been pretty good so far, and I'm pretty happy with the productivity. Although I did sleep in because I had a late night last night. So actually, the work I was doing last night could be considered productive work. I was streaming and introducing tea to people until 3 o'clock in the morning. So I was tired. I slept in, and I got a good exercise in, and felt really good. Got some work done. I just got some work done. I just sent out a really good, important email to all of our wholesale customers to wish them, of course, a Happy New Year and also share some exciting news with them. So if you are one of the wholesale buyers in the Tea-Lit Network and you did not get that email and you want to know what that exciting news is, hit me up. I'll let you know. I'll let you know what it is. Something to do with ceremonial matcha. Bradley, if you're watching, thank you so much. What kind of tea am I making? I am making a shu puer. Shu puer. Go ahead and just see the close-up here. This is going to be the tea I'll be drinking. So shu puer is a expedited fermentation of the puer tea. Typically the raw puer is more like a green tea when it's fresh, so this is just coming from last year's harvest, so this is still very young tea, but you can see how dark it is, and that's because an accelerated fermentation process is applied. It's essentially like compost. That's what makes it dark. Yeah, I'll definitely be sharing this tea and all. Oh, Light Up Buddha. Oh, wow. Okay, so you know something about tea. That's wonderful. Oh, Lazy Lousy, thank you so much for saying hello. Thanks for coming in. Happy 2021. Happy New Year to you. So Light Up Buddha, you say, what kind? Okay, so collections one or regular one? I don't know what that question means. Are you asking if I'm gonna plan to age this and store it? No, I do not plan to do that. I plan to enjoy it. Shu puer is typically not a tea that you need to age and store, although you certainly can. And you will see some evolution and you will see some maturity in that tea over time. But the fermentation, the aging has already been kind of done to this tea. But this is a special tea. This shu puer is coming from one single plot of land in the very high elevation, the highest area of Nanoshan Mountain. Hey, Just Aviation. Yeah, this is a shu puer. Shu puer. Let me go ahead and get this here so you can see the color of it. Some dark, beautiful, small, compact leaves here. You'll see that this is not in the cake form. It has not been compressed into the cake. This is still the loose form, which is called mao cha. But the tea trees that this came from are about 60 years old. And in the grand scheme of things for the area, for Nanoshan, that's actually quite young. So I definitely would not call this a gushu, is what, the term that's used for, higher quality puer. Yeah, so this is a special tea. There's not many small batch, single origin shu puer. The accelerated fermentation process that's applied to these types of teas. All tea is good. Okay, so Light Up Buddha, I can't agree that all tea is good, because there definitely is good tea. When it comes to, handcrafted artisanal tea, all good tea is good. But, if we're talking about something in the tea bag, crushed, teared, and curled, using indentured labor, that's usually not very good, or not good at all. Yeah, so you're not talking about the really cheap one, but that's the majority of tea. And so, I know that a lot of tea people can enjoy the luxuries of good tea all the time and forget about that cheap stuff. But when you're in the business, like I am, and I'm not just in the tea business because I'm a connoisseur. I'm in the tea business because I'm an international development worker. So prior to starting this business and prior to learning about tea and becoming a tea expert, I was actually in the Peace Corps. And I worked with rural farmers around the world, specifically in Africa and in the Caribbean. I did not work with tea farmers at that time, just general agriculture development work. But then I had the great fortune through my food science experience to start working in the tea industry. And so that's where those two worlds collided. And what I ended up discovering in my humanitarian work of trying to help the farmers that I was connecting with in Japan and in India and Sri Lanka, what I came to learn is that the most ethical tea that has the most promise for economic sustainable development for these tea growers is that if we're selling the highest quality tea. And so through that realization, I've started to become a tea expert and starting to really get to enjoy really fine quality teas from around the world. So yeah, I'm grateful for my journey, and I'm also grateful to share my journey with you, my experiences. I'm not trying to withhold any information. Of course, I believe in transparency, but most importantly, I believe in building opportunity for the farmers that I work with. And that's my top priority of everything. What I've come to learn is that, if they become tea masters, then they can better treat their communities, their workers, their environments, which is a win-win for everything. Oh, Littlest Yogi, thanks for joining in. I appreciate so much. Oh, I'm loving this. This is such a beautiful, relaxing Friday. A good start of the year. All right, so Light of Buddha says, you like the tea plantation in the mountains of Taiwan. It's a beautiful place. It is a nice place. It is so great. I also love Taiwan, and I do drink my fair share of beautiful Taiwanese oolong teas, as well as black tea and white tea. So there's been a lot of really interesting innovation happening in Taiwan, and I draw on a lot of those examples to share with the small tea growers that we work with to help them improve their quality and their perception about what quality is. Because for a lot of these small tea growers in India, Sri Lanka, Malawi, Africa, they understand that they want to make better tea, and their point of reference for good tea is pre-established terroir of tea. Particular types of black teas, particular types of oolong teas, and they try to replicate those exact types of teas, and they cannot do that. It's just not possible. So they have to innovate, and they have to come up with a new way. And essentially, to become a tea master, it's not just about being a tea expert and knowing all of tea. Being a tea master is knowing your tea and where you are. So understanding your terroir, understanding the processing and how you need to adjust your processing to make a better quality tea for your customers. So that's it. Oh, Light of Buddha, thank you so much for coming. Oh, last night was special. Thanks to you. Thanks for being a part of that. That was very special. I had a great time last night. I was pretty tired, but I definitely got a good sleep for myself. When I got home this morning, me and Bitcoin got so much rest. Bitcoin is my dog. He was here partying with us all night. In fact, he was dancing. He was having a great time. He's so tired. He's still sleeping now. He didn't even want to leave the house for coming here or for going out. Usually, he's very much into like going out for adventures and doing things. Littlest Yogi, do you do streaming, Littlest Yogi? I guess I could check. I should go check. I'd like to encourage more tea peeps to stream and to add to this community. Let's see. All right, so I've got my Gaiwan, my clean new Gaiwan here. I've just put the boiling water into there for rinsing the warm water throughout all of my tea wares. So when I start brewing the tea, I'm not shocking the tea. Oh, Laura, hi. Good. Okay. I was wondering. Yeah, Laura, thank you so much for being a part of that. You were a very integral part of putting that event on. Not putting it on, but like helping hold the space there. So I'm sure Sam told you, we've been doing meetups there, and we have like a core group about 5 people, and we consistently meet there. But yesterday, I think we had over 30 people. It was incredible, and I think it was a great part to do with what you did. Yeah, you were great. The whole community is great. All right, so I primed all the wares, and actually I'm gonna turn myself live on here, because I'm actually gonna also be going live on Reddit. I like to go live on Reddit. I don't always go live on Reddit, but I do like to go live on Reddit when I'm doing like these general ask anything about tea type presentations. Welcome to my tea room. We are drinking some choux puer. Beautiful choux puer. So when the teaware is warm, I just put the boiling water through here. And when it's warm, it's a good time to put the dry leaf in and get the aroma from the leaf, because the warmth from the gaiwan releases the volatiles from the tea. So it's a good time to smell it. So the aroma I'm getting on this is just like a deep sweet earthiness to it. Super typical for choux puer. Very typical for choux puer is to smell that kind of earthiness. Now you may have experienced choux puer yourself or have heard that it's fishy. People may say, oh, that's the fishy one, it smells fishy. And that's true. There is a lot of fishy choux puer out there that I do not recommend to drink, because you don't know what's in it. Like I said, the choux puer is typically coming from very large scale factories that have to have very large quantities of the raw leaf in order to do the process, because this is an accelerated fermentation process. The fermentation process naturally would take 10 to 20 years. But these guys are trying to accelerate that process to less than 2 months. And so to create the warmth and the heat required to activate all that biological fermentation to happen, this is just the natural yeast and bacteria that inoculate the tea from the air. So nothing special added to the tea. It's just natural fermentation. If you add warmth to that, you're going to encourage those reactions to happen faster. And it's essentially the same thing that happens with your compost. When you're composting your food waste, you heap it because you want that warmth to go in there. And of course, you have to turn the heap so that you can keep everything fresh and evenly processed. So anyway, when the big tea factory has to make these 3-ton batches, they're getting that tea leaf from anywhere and everywhere, just buying it from all the farmers that they can find that leaf from. And there's no accountability about first of all, the quality of that leaf, and then also about the responsibility of those farmers. And so that's when you start getting into the use of agriculture chemicals, fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides. It's very common to see those kinds of practices in these places where there's no accountability between the farmer and the market. Hey, Baked and Layer. Yes, my entire channel is dedicated to tea. Welcome to my tea room. We're going to drink some tea. So here you can see my first brew. This is the first infusion from the choux puer. I'm going to go ahead and grab a little white paper so we can get a better view of the color. You see how dark that is? So when this tea was raw, like when it was fresh, it was almost green. It looked like green tea, the color of the liquor. So when you're brewing tea, do I like tea with milk? Sometimes. It's like a milkshake. I feel like it's like a milkshake when I take my tea with milk. We do have a YouTube. Yeah, you can find the link to our YouTube channel in the description. And yeah, so our YouTube channel has a lot of really great videos, not just our live stream videos, but also really well professionally produced videos from the tea farms. So we work with tea farmers all over the world. We import their teas in bulk and we supply them to the wholesale tea market. So that's going to be hotels, restaurants, tea shops, any type of business that's looking to source tea in bulk. We help them out. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and drink my first. That what I just drank was just the water that I was using for rinsing my teaware, so definitely not. So the other issue with the factory-made choupeur is that, okay, so think about when you're fermenting like beer in your kitchen and you're making beer or you're making yogurt. If you've ever done that before, you know that sanitation is like the top most important thing. And the reason why is because you do not want the wrong little bugs to get involved with that fermentation process that you're activating there. So you have to clean everything and control what goes in there. And so, you're talking about 3 tons of processed tea leaf that's going in for fermenting this tea. It's a big space. And they're rotating batches of tea every day, all the time. And so, and then on top of that, China has a different sanitation standard than we have here. If you visited China, it's not necessarily a knock on China and their culture. It's great. Chinese food is great. It's just a different standard of sanitation. And a lot of these teas are being processed in people's backyards and the workers are barefoot and, we may think in our minds that that's like unsanitary and not good, but for them it's just fine, But these big factories where they're fermenting, they're not keeping it very clean, and so the wrong bugs are getting inoculated into the tea and causing different fermentation processes to happen, not good ones, like the kinds that make things smell fishy. You've heard of bacteria and pH being involved and other things that cause something to smell fishy. The same thing can happen in the tea. And so that's why you'll oftentimes hear that choupeur is fishy. All right, so I'm playing, what am I playing here? I am just playing some chill music. This is super chill. This is called Lo-Fi Chill, Relax, Study, Meditation. I mean, it's just got everything. It's just like a mix I found on SoundCloud by someone posted named Lo-Fi Lover. Sleep peaceful time. So I hope this doesn't put you to sleep. I'm the one drinking tea here, so I know I'm the lucky one, but yeah, this is definitely chill. Definitely chill. Do I like boba? Sometimes, like a milkshake. Same thing with putting the milk in the tea. So when you're drinking like good quality teas like this, like you could put milk in here and it's not going to ruin the whole thing, but it may like overpower the milk and sugar. If you put sugar in it, those things may overpower the nuances of the tea that we're trying to enjoy here. Oh, thanks, Baked and Layered. Baked and Laid, yeah. So, I'll let you know the intention I have for this channel is, chill vibes, educational. But I run a business, and I run a business that supports like hundreds of other businesses. And so my goal is to essentially build a whole network, a whole channel that'll support everybody in the ecosystem that we've built in this business. And that ranges all the way from the farmers to, the tea shop owners that, are among your local communities and providing tea to you. But, boba and milk tea, like I'll drink those. And when I drink those, it's not a tea drinking experience for me. Hi, LXL Peep. Thanks for coming in and saying hi. It's not a tea drinking experience, boba or milk tea. For me, that's like a milkshake experience. That's like going to the ice cream shop and enjoying something sweet. And then, you know, if you're looking at tea as a health benefit type of a thing, when you take milk with it, and not just dairy milk, but nut milks or oat milks, any type of these milks, they actually have protein, and that protein binds itself to the antioxidants. So, you know, pretty much all of the health benefits of tea are negated with the addition of milk. And so that's another reason why when I think about enjoying a milk tea or boba tea, any of those types of things, I really perceive that experience more to be like a dessert experience than a tea experience. My favorite type of... Oh, thanks for the tea stream. I'll check that one out. Is that does not look like a tea stream, but I'm going to check it out anyway, not here live, but I'm going to check it out on my own time because I am very interested in meeting all the other folks that do tea streaming, because I know I'm not the only one. But I will check out that subreddit or that user. Sexy stick. I have to type this or else I'll forget it. The relaxing music while I take this. My favorite type of green tea is shaded green tea from Japan. There's several reasons why. The first is my main study of tea was in Japan, so I'm first and foremost a Japanese tea expert, and over time have learned about tea from all over. Oh, cool, awesome. Thanks for inviting Butter over. Butter seems like a nice guy. But yeah, if you ever meet another tea streamer, feel free to reach out to me. You can follow my my Reddit handle. This website down here on the bottom of the paper, that's my website. You can go, you can get a hold of me through there. You can buy tea from there. You can learn about tea from there. Everything is there. You'll find it. Yeah, it is interesting about adding milk. It's unfortunate, but at the same time, I'm not trying to discourage you from enjoying what you want to enjoy, because ultimately that's what life's about. You know? Yeah, I'm live streaming to a lot of places, but it's good. Baked and Laid, I'm here with you and everybody. And, you know, it's like, I like doing these types of sessions because I'm on Reddit as well. And I love Reddit community because the questions come, which is great. And so sometimes I will supplement the Twitch stream with going on Reddit as well. So you want to know about Teavana, and is it blasphemy? It's not blasphemy. It's just like boba. You know, I don't find it blasphemy, but it's just not good tea. And it did some negative efforts, although its positive efforts have been much more than the negative. The positive is they popularized tea in America, which, you know, if you remember our history, we have a very, 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 very important part of our history that, you know, really represents our culture and who we've become since Revolution. And that was the Boston Tea Party, where we threw out all the tea in the Boston Harbor because it represented the oppression that we had. Oh, thanks, Baked and Laid. Yeah, spread it as much as you like. We do a really cool thing on Thursdays. It's super interactive, and we did it yesterday for New Year's all day long. We have a virtual tea house on the internet, and we meet on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Pacific, and we talk tea. It's a really cool, and I stream that as well. But it's all like tea expert, tea business owners. Sometimes we're lucky and a tea farmer will show up. And we meet there on Thursdays at 2. So Baked and Laid, if you want to really get involved in what we're doing, I'd love to have you come on Thursdays at 2. Oh, hey, Blas. I'm doing good. How are you? You have a few good pours? Good. Oh, this tea is so relaxing. It's like just about as relaxing as this music is. I'm going to go ahead and get started with my second infusion. So you're asking about the sencha tea. So I said my favorite green tea is Japanese shaded green tea. And there is a shaded sencha, but we don't call it sencha. The name for that grade of tea is Kabusei sencha. Kabusei sencha. Oh, littlest yogi. Yeah, littlest yogi, she was there at our party yesterday, so she can attest to how awesome our Thursday tea streams are. It's a community thing. It's not just me. You know, I hold down the fort. I'm happy to hold down the fort. I'm happy to learn and innovate and figure this shit out. But at the same time, you know, this is for all of us to gain from. So, Laura, I look forward to helping you with your tea stream dreams. So Kabusei sencha is shaded sencha from Japan. And Kabusei literally translates to shaded. And the Kabusei has the shading directly on top of the tea plant. So there is a little bit of damage that happens to the tea leaves while they're trying to grow. So the most premium quality of shaded green tea would be the Gyokuro or matcha. Matcha is actually a shaded green tea from Japan. And why it's higher quality is because they do not put the shade directly on the tree like the Kabusei. They put it at least 4 feet above the bush. And there's 2 layers. So there's 2 layers of blackout shade 4 feet above the tea hedges. And the purpose of the shading is to block out the sun so that the photosynthesis cannot happen. And they do this 4 weeks prior to harvest. So right now in Japan, all the tea bushes are dead asleep. Like, I shouldn't say dead because they're very much alive. They're just, they're sleeping. They're hibernating for the cold winter. It's very cold in Japan. And a lot of these places are very high up in the mountains. So tea bushes build up the resiliency by going dormant. And then in the spring, when the weather starts to warm up, is when the new shoot will come out. And that new shoot is this guy, that guy right there. So that's like the new little shoot comes out, and all that shoot wants to do is breathe. You know, it just wants to respirate, and it needs the sun for that. And in the process of respiration, which is growth, which is good, it creates, it changes the chemical structure of the tea leaf, and it does create some negative compounds. It converts all the polyphenols into tannins. Those are bitter. And so that's why tea, when you bite the tea leaf, if you've ever had the chance to bite the tea leaf, a fresh tea leaf especially, is very bitter. But shaded green tea is the opposite because it did not go through that respiration process and did not create all those tannins. Instead, it has more amino acids, more savoriness, and so that's why good matcha, ceremonial grade, high quality matcha, should not be bitter. It should actually be creamy and sweet from all of those proteins that were kept in the tea. What filter am I using? I'm not using any filter. This is just some footage I took in Sri Lanka, or my brother took. Where are the crumpets? No crumpets today. Although, what do I have here? I've got some roasted. I'll show you my tea snacks. So you asked about my crumpets, I'll show you my tea snacks. I've got some roasted almonds, so that's pretty standard. Eat some salted roasted nuts. So this is a good tea snack. Oh, I have my last tea snack is still on here. This is a good little tea snack here. Some roasted almonds. Oh, this filter. Oh, that's what you're talking about. Yeah. So this is a cool one. This is a cool one. This is really popular these days. I didn't find one of these until last year, but since then, I see them all over the place. So they're like a newly popular filter. And so you see it's got the little holes all over it. Tiny holes. But it's a solid. It's not gold. I mean, it looks like the color gold. It's cheap. These things are cheap. I bought this in China for like 10 cents or something, and I bought a bunch of them. But, you know, they used to make these. Hold on one second. I'll bring it. I'll show you because I know you'll appreciate it. So the first time I saw something similar to it was like literally a real leaf. So this is a real Bodhi leaf. And they use it as a strainer. You know, they put it over the pitcher to strain out, you know, all the small leaf using the real one. But these things are so thin. Someone gifted this one to me. I didn't buy this one. Someone gifted it, and I feel like it's so precious. I've never used it before. But this is the same concept, but this is better because it's metal. Yeah, no, my altar is other things. This is useful. My altar, I've got some, what is this? I forget what this is called. I'm not much of a stone collector, but I do not sell them, sorry. Dehydrated banana peels. I've heard of using them for activating different processes. Banana peels has a compound in it that breaks, I forget what it breaks down, but I never heard of it as so these are my tea pets. I've got my lucky persimmon. These signify good fortune. So yeah, this is just for straining. This is cheap. Most strainers are cheap. Most of what you'll see out and about in the world, I don't have one exactly right here, but they're usually just like little ceramic with like a little metal holes on the bottom. Selenite, yes, you're right. Selenite, yes, selenite tea pet. And then I've got my Bitcoin. This is important. A little side reference. This tea business, Tealet, is one of the first Bitcoin merchants in the world. So we were one of the first companies in the world to accept Bitcoin as payment, and now we do all of our business in Bitcoin, in cryptocurrency, as far as sending payments around the world. Then I've got my quartz bacon rock. This is very important. This is my dear. I love pork, bacon especially, but I love this. It's like it's a quartz, and it's got deposits of ferrous here, which is what caused all that red. And then of course in China, you know, they also love bacon fat. They love bacon in China. So they collect these rocks and they cut them to look like pork belly. You can get physical, but no, this was just like a gift. One of my friends that has like a Bitcoin company, he made these as like swag for his company. So it's just there's no value, there's no Bitcoin value to this other than, you know, sentimental Bitcoin value of that. And then I have my other Bitcoin here. And this is my tea pet. This is my Bitcoin tea pet. My dog's name is Bitcoin. See how cute he is. But unfortunately, his head came off, and his tail, and his ears. Like, this poor guy, he's had a rough life. But this is my tea pet. And tea pets are important in tea culture because they're just fun, you know, and they actually have a long history in Chinese tea culture of you know, having spiritual meaning. That's why a lot of the tea pet structures will be the Chinese zodiac, as well as other animals and funny things such as this. This is the pee-pee boy. This is said to be the very first tea pet that was ever, you know, introduced into the world. The little ceramic pee-pee boy. This guy serves a purpose. He's got a little hole strategically placed And when you super chill this or fill it with cold water and you pour boiling water over its head, it'll shoot the water out. I keep telling myself I gotta have this guy ready to show you guys one time. But it's a really fast process. Like, you have to go from the cold to the hot really fast. Baked in lake. Are there any teas with a natural hint of citrus? Yes, there are. You know, and that's a terroir note. You know, like you think about wine. If you've ever gotten into wine and you talk to the sommelier, and they will like tell you it's going from it's coming from this region in Italy or this region in France, and that region is known for having, you know, these types of tasting notes on the tea, or on the wine. I'm sorry. But the same thing happens in tea. So in my experience, the strongest citrus notes that I've seen in tea are coming from South India, Nilgiri. We have one specific tea called Neelamalai Winter Black, and that one has very nice citrus notes to it. No understanding why. Do you know? It's one of those mystery things. And of course, if you're working within a certain terroir, if you're a tea master, a tea maker working within a certain terroir, and the tea should have this character to it, you can fuck up in processing and ruin that character. So, you know, you're not guaranteed like, oh, I'm going to go invest in a tea garden in Hawaii. So Hawaii is known for having a very high quality terroir note to it because of its like new virgin soil. That has so much tropical influence on it. The teas coming from Hawaii, of course, the good teas coming from Hawaii do have a very strong kind of tropical fruity character to them. But if you don't process them well, you can definitely screw that up and make a bad tea. So if you think, oh, I'm going to invest in a tea farm in Hawaii and just go become a famous tea maker, it's not that easy. It's not just about getting the right tea bushes, or, you know, maybe getting the right tea master from China or Taiwan could work, but then there's the whole issue of that tea master is coming from a different terroir. So they have an understanding of the tea leaf from where they're coming from and what type of character they're trying to pull out from those tea leaves. But if you bring them to a new terroir, they are going to have to pretty much start from scratch, redeveloping their relationship with the tea leaf. Now, a really good tea master will be smart enough and open-minded enough to go through that process very easily. But funny thing about old men, well, tea masters are all pretty much old men, is that a lot of times they're stubborn and they're not willing to open their mind, and it's hard to get them to even leave the mountains that they leave on. So yeah, it's an interesting thing. So yeah, being a wine sommelier is very similar to being a tea expert, but different. So and the reason why we haven't gotten to a point where there's pure commonality between those things is that there's no established standard. In the wine industry, there's like a board, there's like an established set of rules that the sommeliers, you know, are tested against when they get their certifications. With tea, we do not have an internationally recognized thing. So if you Google search, you will find tea sommeliers. You'll find them all over the freaking place. In fact, there's a couple of organizations that will, you know, for a couple $1,000 certify you as well if you go through their training courses. But those are not internationally recognized certifications. And so I actually do not recommend those if you are seeking that out purely for some type of professional accreditation. But I do recommend it if you are just seeking out cool education and new places and new perspectives to see. So if that's your intent, then go for it, but it's expensive. It is expensive. All right, I I did not finish my tea snack presentation, so I'm gonna get that going. Next up, I have my, speaking of pork belly, I have my chicharron. Very important to always have chicharron, or as I like to call it, comfort pork. My comfort pork is here. Oh, Bitcoin, you lost your head again. There you go, buddy. There you go. Tea tastes good? You never tried it, so you don't know? Well, I think you should try it. I don't know where you are. If you want to let me know where you are, I can tell you where you can go have a good tea experience, because I know all of the tea shops. Oh, thanks, Baked and Laid. Oh, thank you. I am a food scientist, so I know some things. And I've also, traveled the world and lived in different communities and different cultures, and I feel like that's played a really big role in, because we all get exposed to knowledge, like constantly. We are constantly exposed to knowledge, but then when it comes down to like sitting in front of camera and sharing, a lot of people feel like, I don't have that knowledge. And I think that like one of the benefits that I've gotten from my Peace Corps experiences or living in other cultures is that maybe holding on to knowledge and then sharing that knowledge with others is not so much about having been exposed to it, because everybody's been exposed to all of the knowledges, but it's about like how you're able to relate that knowledge, and that's the tricky part. What's the most connoisseur highbrow type of tea, and what's a good entry tea for green tea? All right, I'm going to answer both of those questions. So a good entry tea for green tea, I would say, is not Japanese green tea. A lot of people, they first go for Japanese green tea. They first go for the matcha, or they first go for the sencha, which, you can find something that you like in that. But Japanese green tea is very strong in taste, very strong in its chi, in its energy. And so, for a new tea drinker, that may be a very, abrupt introduction to tea. You can find much milder green teas from China. So I'd recommend a green tea called Dragon Well, or Longjing in Mandarin. That has a very mild taste to it. Bilochan also has a very mild, nutty, sweet taste to it. And then there's a whole list of other green teas. Now, if you go to this website and look at the green tea section, all of the green teas there are all like sweet and pleasant, because like I understand that in America, or even in Europe or South America, people are kind of new to tea. They're kind of new to having something beyond just like the black tea bag or the iced tea, the sweetened iced tea. So when I selected the teas for our catalogs, I didn't immediately go for like the most highbrow on every tea, because a lot of the highbrow teas are more like acquired tastes. You're not just to jump right into that tea and fall in love with it. So that helps me segue into answering the next questions you had, which is what is the most connoisseur highbrow type of tea? People would say it's this one, the Shu Pu'er. Deep, dark, rich, fermented pu'er tea. And I personally don't agree with that. Even in China, in Hong Kong, in Taiwan, Taipei, where I've met, the top connoisseurs that are in the business, like there are people that they have a job to go search for a tea. And like, it's not like a huge batch of tea. It's like, oh, we got to go find a warehouse that's stocked with all this tea. No, they are in search of like one unit of that tea that may only be like 300 grams or something, less than a pound. And they're searching all over the world for this cake of tea. And so, yeah, that's like, really highbrow, high value. But the most expensive teas that I've ever been exposed to weren't just pu'er teas, but they were like aged oolong teas. I think the most expensive tea I've come across was an aged Oriental Beauty. It's a very famous Taiwanese oolong tea that's super sweet, has like grapefruit sweetness to it. It's highly sought out. The fresh tea is, but the one that I'm talking about is like 38 years old. It's been aged all that time, and it only takes one of the tiniest little sips of that tea to understand its value, because not only does it taste good and have like a unique aroma and unique a texture, but it has this like wisdom to it. And it's hard to explain. It's like, how do you explain what wisdom tastes like? But, you know, there's a taste to it. And I think the same thing happens in wine as well. You know, if you talk to a sommelier about a properly aged bottle of wine and how that vintage evolves over time, they may use similar terms of you know, maturing into some type of wisdom. So Baked and Laid, you're in Georgia. You grew up on sweet tea. Way too much sugar. Yeah, that's right. Have you ever tried iced tea without the sugar? It's actually pretty good. You know, even if it's cheap tea, it can be pretty refreshing and good. But if it's good tea, like if you were to make an iced tea out of this tea that I'm drinking here, man, it would be so bomb. It'd be so good. And what I'd recommend, so like most like sweet tea recipes, they like to brew the tea really strong with like boiling water, because you want to like release as much of the tannins, as much of that bitterness and the caffeine out of the tea, so that it'll take to the sugar well. Because, you know, sugar has a pretty strong sensation to it. It will take over all your taste buds. So you need something strong to power through that so that you taste through the sugar. And so they'll usually brew the tea really strong. But if you don't plan to add sugar to your tea, you can cold brew it, very similarly how you cold brew coffee. When you cold brew coffee or tea or anything, it is the lower temperature of brewing. So like cold brew is just like on the shelf, like room temp brewing. The ratio that I like to go by is 15 grams to a gallon of water. So 15 grams of leaf to a gallon of water. You can use a glass bottle, you can just use the plastic bottle of spring water from the store. And you add the tea in and let it sit for 9 hours at least. So that's perfect. Set it up at night. Next morning you can decant it. And so decanting is like when you separate it. So like whenever I was pouring the leaf out into the pitcher like that, that's called decanting. So in wine world, they call decanting when you open the bottle and pour it out for the purpose of like aerating the wine. So decanting the tea means you just separate the liquid from the leaf. And you put that on ice and it tastes so good. Or you just put it in your fridge and just drink it as you need it. And the lower temperature of brewing means that more of the sweetness is going to come out versus that bitterness and that like harsh astringency. Very similar to cold brew coffee. Cold brew coffee is a very common thing in coffee shops across the country now. You definitely can get exposed to that. And you'll notice that the coffee, it may be a little sour, and a lot of times that's the beans itself. It's not the brewing. But you definitely find cold brew to be sweeter and kind of more enjoyable to drink. Yeah, your grandma used to boil for 30 minutes. That's right. That's about right. That's a long time to boil black tea. You're definitely gonna extract some harsh flavors and goodness from that. So you say tea is healthier than alcohol, but it is true that too much too long can give a person kidney stones. Okay, that's a trick question because it's kind of true. Like there are research studies that have found in extreme cases that too much tea can cause a whole list of ailments. But when you go look at the details of like how much needs to be consumed to make a noticeable difference on those factors, it's it's like you have to be like constantly consuming tea like every waking moment of your life in order to accumulate that much to cause those types of problems. So I would not have any fear about over consuming tea. When it comes to over consuming tea, there is something to be mindful of, and your body is going to let you know right away if it's a problem. And so you pretty much can self-regulate that very easily. And that's when sometimes you do drink too much tea, your stomach gets upset. And that's usually when you have an empty stomach. And that's exactly why we have the salted almonds and chicharron at the tea table. That's like enough to settle stomach if you're having issues with drinking tea. Also, you can just take a break from drinking tea for a couple seconds while your body regulates itself. So yeah, tea is healthier, tea is better. Drink tea. It's good. You will not overdose yourself, ever. And if you do, like matcha, so matcha could be something, because it's typically green tea that will make your stomach upset. So matcha is green tea, and it's like pure green tea. Like you are eating the whole tea leaf. You're not just drinking what's been decanted like this. You're drinking the whole leaf when you have a bowl of matcha. And so matcha can make your stomach empty, and then it can also like jack you up, like energy wise, like make whoa, is a lot of energy, kind of like having, a strong cup of espresso or something. So, but that's another one that if that happens, it's very easy to regulate that yourself with your own body. Your body's going to tell you, it's time for me to take a break on drinking tea for a couple of seconds. It's very easy. Yeah, so I just I'd recommend that you not have any fear of tea being an issue. It's only going to make you healthier. Does anybody want to share any interesting resolutions that you have that you're looking forward to focusing on? I'm happy to listen and to provide my support. I'll share my resolution. Other than just doing good, it's always a resolution. But every spring for the past, since 2014, so that's been 7 years. 7 years, yes. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so this will be coming on the 7th year. I do something called the Amazing Tea Race. And so that's through the business. We travel to meet with all the tea growers that we work with, and we invite the buyers, so that's tea shop owners, business owners, hotel owners, management, tea buyers. We invite them to travel with us and to learn about the tea that's been growing and that they're processing and that they're selling in their businesses. And it takes 2 months. We go to like 18 different destinations. So like every few days we're in an airplane going to the next place. It's great fun. It's been a pillar of this business and of the knowledge that I've been exposed to and have the great pleasure and fortune of sharing with you. But last year, I had to cancel the Amazing Tea Race because that was the start of COVID. And now we're still in it. And I'm obviously going to have to cancel it again. It's too high risk for us to be, traveling around with people from all over the world like that. And so I am going to be throwing our next virtual tea festival, and that's my resolution, is to continue to make virtual tea festivals. I've done 2 so far now, and the next one is going to be bigger, better than anything that we've done to date. And I'm looking forward to putting that together and bringing all the pieces together to make that happen. That'll be in April of 2021. So in 3 months, we'll be kicking it off. It'll probably be a whole week long, a multiple day event, replicating the experience of traveling around to all these places and learning about tea from the people that grow it and make it themselves. It'll all be done through the computer, probably not through Reddit, but I'll let you guys know about it. You can join us. We'll definitely be streaming to Twitch, to our Twitch channel. And if you do want to see our Twitch channel, see our link there. Tealet Tea. Tealet Tea is my handle all over all the socials, so you can find me everywhere with Tealet Tea. On Reddit, I'm myself. I'm Peace Elise. My name's Elise. But yeah, if you want to follow our Twitch, that's the best way to stay up to date on all of our events and everything that's going on. April, that's too far for a Turkish tea experience. Oh, you want Turkish tea? I can do a Turkish tea experience if you request it. It'd be interesting to that could be a cool stream, to talk about the histories of different tea cultures from different countries. Talk about not only the culture of how you prepare the tea, but also the tea that you use. So with Turkish tea, you're supposed to use certain types of tea. Moroccan tea, you're supposed to use certain types of tea. And I'll be honest that the tea that I deal in is usually not in those types of tea cultures. Usually the type of tea that's in Turkish tea, Moroccan tea, even Russian tea ceremonies is typically very commodified, low quality tea, cheap tea that I don't deal in. But it's always fun to take good quality teas and put them into those applications. It just makes a more interesting, unique experience. A couple weeks ago, I did a cooking stream with a popular chef streamer that does cooking education classes, and I sent him teas and he had me come on and stream with him, and we cooked side by side some recipes with the teas, and he found this incredible recipe for a sweet tea brined fried chicken. Sweet tea. So we were talking about that, Georgia and baked in lay. You're talking about the sweet tea your grandma used to make. So that the recipe called for standard sweet tea, but the tea that I deal in is not typically used in that. But I suggested, okay, let's use this in that tea. We made a blend, and we brewed it for a really long time on the stove, and it came out so good. So much more flavor, so much more character. And the brine was great. I don't really brine chicken for frying. I've never done that before, but I think now my life has changed. I'm going to do it every single time. It definitely takes more time and prep to get everything together, but totally worth it. So yeah, always fun to find applications of crossing cultures with tea. A lot of people that get into the connoisseurship of tea, they find the Chinese culture. So what we're doing here, this is the Chinese culture. It's not 100% Chinese. It's not 100% accurate to any, culture or ceremony or anything. I'm absolutely not doing a ceremony here. I'm just serving tea. But this style of tea service is called gongfu cha. And you typically do it on a tray where if things drip down, you have another tray to collect. Have another tray down here to collect all the water that comes down. You can be messy, you can be clean. You can brew the tea however you want. There is no perfect way to brew it. But usually, you just have this is called the gaiwan. It's just a cup with a lid, and you have a pitcher and your cup, or cups if you have guests. But typically you would never see them making sweet tea with their tea or putting it into a tea bag. But it's kind of fun every now and then to kind of cross those cultures and see, that you can actually elevate the quality of that experience if you use higher quality product. This tea is so good. It's so good. Cup Gem for the follow. I'm sorry guys, I don't have I don't have alerts and all these things set up, and I do not plan on becoming an affiliate on Twitch. So, because I'm not trying to make money off of these and have subscribers. I'm really trying to make this free and open content for everybody to enjoy at all times in any way that they want. And even to share it too, you know? So, like for instance, all the YouTube videos and all of the media that we have for all of the tea growers that we work with are all available to our wholesale buyers, and they get the full media license on that. So, you know, a tea shop that's sourcing this black tea from a certain farmer in India, after they've sourced that tea, would have the ability to utilize all the videos and photos that we have to do their own storytelling for that tea. So I'm very much into sharing content and getting stories out and getting education out. That's the top priority. Yeah, April, the amazing tea race, the virtual amazing tea race. So I'm gonna have a lot of fun, like coming up with the ideas of how to create like the most optimal interactive experience for that. Yeah, so if you have any ideas, feel free to share them with me. I'm all about ideas. But yeah, I've done 2 different virtual tea festivals so far. Both have been great success. And I look to make an even bigger one. You know, tea festivals are a really important part of the tea community and the spread of tea education for the past decade or so. We have several very large tea festivals around the country, around the world, in fact. There's a Seattle, Portland, Kansas City, Chicago, and then as well as, you know, the tea festivals throughout Canada. I've been to Ottawa and Toronto and Vancouver. I can't forget LA, San Francisco, and then we have one here in Vegas. I throw a tea festival here, a music and tea festival, the World Tea and Music Festival. But yeah, now we can't do these physical events, which are crucial for tea businesses. A lot of tea businesses have all of their revenue and their sales happening during these tea festivals. You know, they have education and they have different, you know, community events at the festival, but the most important thing is the marketplace where vendors have a booth and can sell their tea, and they just can't do that right now. So the virtual tea festival, and the whole reason why I'm even streaming right now and have all of this equipment set up and navigating this, is because I'm trying to fill that void for these virtual events. And I don't think that it's going to be done with like a single event once a year. I think it's going to be through these consistent virtual interactions. And I think Twitch has been, you know, a very awesome platform so far. I don't think I'll be abandoning it anytime soon. And you know, these tea festivals that I'm doing now, which I think my goal is to continue to keep them going at least once a quarter, is to extend the education beyond just me and what I'm sharing here, and invite the tea growers, invite other retailers, invite even tea lovers and tea bloggers to come and share their stories and their inspirations around tea, and get people excited about being a part of the tea community. Wow, it's almost 11 o'clock. Jeez. That day went quick. The year is going by so fast already. See how dark that is? Beautiful color. like how it looks like the tea plant is holding up the disco ball. Baked and Lame. You're in Georgia. I met a tea friend yesterday who's in Georgia, in Atlanta. And he says, there's no tea people here in Georgia. I said, oh, I've worked with some. He says, oh, please introduce me. So now I'm on, like, I've got it in my mindset. If I ever, see someone or meet someone from Georgia that's into tea, I think, oh, I've got to try to connect them. Got to get the Georgia tea fam all together. Oh man, what a peaceful tea. So you may be asking, it's almost 11 o'clock at night and you're drinking tea. Doesn't tea have caffeine? It's true. Tea does have caffeine, but tea also has L-theanine in it. And L-theanine changes the caffeine's reaction in our body from being so caffeine usually just gives us this big jolt of energy and then a crash. But with L-theanine, it changes the caffeine's reaction in the body to being exclusively a mental focus and a body relaxation. Perfect state to be in to meditate. Now I am feeling, I'm feeling the theanine from this, the theanine and caffeine. My brain is feeling turned on. I'm feeling like I have a lot of ideas and a lot of passionate things that I want to share with you very quickly. But my body is just chill. I'm chill. I'm feeling the chillest ever, which is good. Good place to be at 10 o'clock at night on January 1st, 2021. So good. So funny. The Littlest Yogi. I like that handle. That's such a cute name. Littlest Yogi. Before I go. One more infusion. Whatever water I have left, I'm almost out of water. And that's okay. It means it's time to go home. Time to go home and relax. The littlest one. They called you the littlest one. How tall are you, Laura? How little is little? Your littlest comrade on Twitter. That's cute. I like that. That's a big difference than yogi. It's different. It's the same but different. I like that. Very much making a statement, calling yourself littlest comrade. I like that. Look at all that. Oh, thank you, Laura, for being here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go home soon. Get in my second best rest of the year. Do it all over again tomorrow. But I probably won't stream tomorrow. I usually stream on Mondays, and I usually stream around 2 p.m. But You're 4'10". Okay, yeah, you are littlest. I don't know if that's littlest, but you're little. That's a nice height. I'm 5'8". I am far from little. But then I'm not tall. I'm not gigantic, but definitely not a little one. So I usually stream around 2 p.m., but sometimes the times are different, and as I tighten up my streaming schedule, I may change that time. Another issue that I have is with my internet connection. I have no options. There's only one option I have, and it's like really erratic, and I've been starting to speed tests and analyze the data and try to fit my streaming schedule with what works with my internet connection, because there's sometimes when I receive the internet that I pay for, which I pay premium to get the best one, and then there's other times where the provider just says, tough luck, you're not getting internet right now. And I have no options. In most free market economies, there's options, there's competition, there's, but not in Vegas, because in Vegas we like things to be very organized and controlled. So fortunately, the Cox has kept everybody else out, which is unfortunate. I've researched all the options, even trying to get hotspots. This particular area that I'm in does not have, very specific particular area that I'm in does not have 5G. Hi, Onur. Thanks for coming by and saying hi. Just finished a tea drinking session. I drank some beautiful shu pu'er from Nanoshan in Yunnan, China. And I'm about to tune out, go enjoy my weekend, but I'll be back on Monday to do the dignified hospitality segments. So this is just a regular podcast documenting a manifesto for what the hospitality industry can do in its relaunch in the world to bring more dignity to everybody, from the farm to the chef to the service staff, and as well as the consumer as well. And Wednesdays, I do a Constitution study group, which is actually going to be evolving into a restorative culture circle. Kind of hard to explain, but basically we're really into being civilized on Wednesdays. Well, every day, but Wednesdays we talk about it and talk about how we can help each other become more civilized. So yeah, if you're interested in that type of stuff, join in on Wednesdays. And then on Thursdays we do Tea Talks, which is an open forum held in the virtual tea house. Everybody is welcome to come. We sit around, we drink tea together, we share great inspirations, have a little fun, and we share with everybody, all the fun. So if you'd like something a bit more social and casual, check us out on Thursdays. And then random days when I'm feeling it, like today, I'll pop on, say hello, share some inspiration, share some knowledge, and some tea, of course. But yeah, I think I'm ready to head out now. Let's see, where should we go? Where should we go? Who's streaming right now? Yeah, let's go check out Chef de Partie. Yeah, he's got a big party going on. We can go see what he's up to. I was watching him earlier. He was also sharing some pretty heavy inspirations for his year, so go check him out. Thank you everybody for joining today. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful 2021. It's all up to us to make that happen, so. It is all up to us to make that happen. So, I wish you all very much pure aloha. And I'll see you all on Monday. Have a beautiful weekend. Much love. Goodbye.